Have you ever glanced at a half-dollar coin and thought, just 50 cents? What if I told you that one specific 1995 Kennedy half-dollar recently shocked the collector world by being valued at over $1 million? That's right. A coin that most people overlook, toss into a drawer, or spend at a gas station could be a life-changing treasure hiding in plain sight. Before you rush to your coin stash, stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, you'll discover the truth behind the $1 million 1995 Kennedy half-dollar, how to identify it, and why it's not just rare, it's nearly mythical. Let's rewind the clock. The year is 1995. Windows 95 is released. eBay is founded. And the U.S. Mint quietly produces millions of Kennedy half-dollars in Philadelphia and Denver. Nothing seemed unusual. Until decades later, collectors began to notice something different. A tiny handful of 1995 Kennedy half-dollars had errors, minting mistakes so rare, so unusual, they defied the odds. One such coin was recently discovered with a striking error on a silver planchet, an anomaly since Kennedy half-dollars from that period were not supposed to be struck in silver. That coin, verified and graded at MS-69, near perfection, was auctioned for just over $1,100,000. Yes, over $1 million for a 50-cent piece. And it wasn't just the metal. It was a perfect storm, wrong planchet, flawless condition, and massive collector demand. So what should you be looking for? First, check for the 1995 date and the mint mark. Most of these rare anomalies were minted in Philadelphia, meaning your coin should have a P mint mark, or none at all, as was customary with Philadelphia coins that year. Next, examine the weight. A standard 1995 Kennedy half-dollar should weigh 11.34 grams and is made of copper nickel clad. But if your coin feels different, heavier, smoother, more silver-like, it might have been struck on a silver planchet by mistake. That one detail could make it worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now flip it under good lighting. Look at the edges. Do they appear fully clad, or is there a silver shine from edge to edge? That might indicate a transitional error. Then inspect for double die errors, especially on the words Liberty or In God We Trust. Any sign of doubling could significantly boost the value. But here's the critical part. Condition is king. A coin that's worn, scratched, or damaged won't break records. But a pristine, uncirculated 1995 Kennedy half-dollar, especially one with an error, is worth gold. Literally. And here's the tragic truth, most people who stumble upon these coins either sell them too soon, clean them, which destroys value, or worse, spend them. If you think you might have one, do not clean it. Do not take it to just any pawn shop. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their authentication is what transforms a maybe into $1 million. Now imagine this, you're at the laundromat, using an old half-dollar for change. Turns out, you just used a coin that could have paid off your mortgage, funded your kid's education, and bought you a one-way ticket to early retirement. That's not a fantasy. It's happened. But let's dive deeper. Why was the 1995 Kennedy half-dollar minted in the first place, and what separates the $1 million version from the rest? The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his assassination. It's been in production ever since, but by the mid-1990s, it was rarely seen in everyday transactions. Most Americans had stopped using them, making high-grade examples even harder to come by. In 1995, the U.S. Mint released Kennedy half-dollars for circulation and collectors alike. But something went wrong, or very, very right, depending on how you look at it. A few of those coins were struck using planchets from earlier silver issues, possibly intended for collector sets or foreign contracts. These weren't supposed to exist. But they did. And that's what makes them so valuable. Now, think about the odds. Millions of coins struck. Only a few slipped through with errors. Fewer still survived untouched, in near-perfect condition. That's why finding one is like hitting the rarest jackpot in numismatics. One confirmed 1995 Kennedy half-dollar, struck on a 90% silver planchet and graded MS69 by PCGS, became the crown jewel of an advanced collector's set, and sold for over $1 million at a private auction. It's not just about the metal or the grade, it's about provenance. Where did this coin come from? Why was it struck this way? And who recognized its value before the rest of the world caught on? In some cases, collectors are still arguing over how these errors occurred. Were they the result of leftover planchets from the 1992 or 1993 silver-proof runs? Or was it an unnoticed batch sent to the wrong press? Even more intriguing, some believe these silver planchet 1995 half dollars were struck for testing purposes and never meant to leave the mint. That would make them unauthorized releases, increasing both their rarity and mystery. And then there's the grade. Coins are evaluated using the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 to 70. MS69 is as close to perfection as it gets. Every detail crisp. Every edge clean. No fingerprints. No scratches. A flawless strike from a nearly perfect die. Coins at this level aren't just rare, they're virtually unattainable. The silver version isn't the only thing to look for. There are also double die errors, especially on the obverse. Look closely at Liberty or Kennedy's profile. A subtle doubling in these areas could mean your coin is a hidden gem. And then there are off-center strikes, where the image is misaligned. Or broad strikes, where the coin is slightly larger than normal and missing its reeded edge. Even a clipped planchet, where a part of the coin is missing, can drive collectors into bidding wars. You might be thinking, what if mine isn't perfect? Is it still worth anything? The answer is yes. Even lower-grade coins with rare errors can fetch thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, especially if authenticated by a top grading service. And here's something most people don't know. Many of these coins were unknowingly placed into mint sets sold directly to collectors. That means if your family ever bought a US mint set in 1995 and stored it away, you might already own one of these unicorns. Collectors are now scrambling to get their hands on unopened sets from that year, hoping to find one of these rare variations inside. The unopened packaging preserves condition and creates an even bigger buzz at auction. Numismatics, the art and science of coin collecting, is exploding. With inflation rising and tangible assets becoming more attractive, rare coins have become a booming investment sector. And the 1995 Kennedy half dollar is at the center of this movement. If you're lucky enough to find one, remember, the buyer matters. Selling on auction sites without authentication could cost you tens or hundreds of thousands. High-end collectors want assurance, provenance, grade, and legitimacy. So, how do you get started? First, educate yourself. Look at your coins carefully. Know what to search for. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Understand the features of genuine 1995 Kennedy half dollars. Then compare yours. Second, preserve it. Don't clean it. Store it in a soft holder, away from moisture and air. And get it authenticated through PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. This isn't just a hobby. It's a hunt. It's a test of attention to detail, of patience, and of timing. Because somewhere out there, maybe in a basement box or in your grandmother's drawer, $1 million 1995 Kennedy half dollar is waiting to be found. These coins are out there. In old jars, in estate collections, in forgotten pockets of vintage clothing. And every day, one or two more surface and change someone's life forever. The question is, will you be next? Start checking. That old Kennedy half dollar sitting in your desk drawer? It might not just be 50 cents. It could be $1 million in disguise. Don't wait. Because in the world of rare coins, hesitation doesn't cost you time. It costs you treasure.